Hello and good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Vivek Singh Tomar, Area Chair for Marketing and Strategy at Institute of Management Technology, Center for Distance Learning, Ghaziabad. It is a great pleasure for all of us at IMT CDL to welcome all of you for a panel discussion, which is a part of our Marketing Roundtable series. The topic and the theme of today's panel discussion is very interesting and contemporary. And that is about decoding the millennials and Generation Z buying behavior. Millennials are also known as Generation Y, and Generation Z is also known as Generation Z, I generation, or Zoomers. These are some other names which are used synonymously for these generations. The topic is very interesting and contemporary, so is our panel. We have brought our alumni from diverse field, and we have brought them together here. All of them are from marketing. They are expert in the area of marketing and consumer behavior, and they will be sharing a lot of insight to cover the discussion objectives that we already shared with all of you, available on our website and public forum. So this marketing roundtable series is one of the attempt to bridge the gap between industry, academics, and our learners who are attending this session offline as well as online. So today, through this panel discussion, we are going to delve deeper into the topic of how millennials and Generation Z, they approach towards purchase decision. Now, before we go deeper, before we go further, I think there are three very important key terms that I think everyone should understand, especially the audience, those who are hearing and attending this panel discussion. One is the generation cohorts. Now, when you look into the meaning of cohorts by Googling it, you will find out that cohorts means group of people who are sharing certain characteristics. Now, the next obvious question which will come to your mind is then how the cohorts are different from segments. Segments means the customers, group of customers who are having certain similar characteristics. Here, the word having is replaced by sharing the certain characteristics. And by generation cohorts, we means one generation who has lived during the same time period, witnessed the similar life events, which has influenced their attitude and their behavior and their thought process. So that's one key term, generation cohorts. Now, millennials and Generation Z, they are two major generation cohorts that we will be discussing, and their buying behavior. Now, millennials are the one who are born in between year 1981 to year 1996. As of year 2023, currently they will be falling roughly in the age group of 27 years to 42 years. Whereas Generation Z is relatively younger generation. They are the one who are born in between year 1997 to 2012. In current year, they might be ranging in the age group of 11 years to 26 years. The generation before millennials, that is called Generation X. I belong to Generation X because I'm born before 1981. All my panel members, they belong to Generation Y. They are millennials because they are the one who are born in between year 1981 to year 1997. The Generation Z, that is 1997 to 2012, and the next generation, the 10-year-old kids today, they belong to Alpha generation. So we have four existing generation. In fact, one more generation, if I include my parents as well, they will be, we can put them into the baby boomers generation. So our focus for this panel discussion will be around millennials and Generation Z for a very particular reason. The reason is that if you look into the demographic structure of the world, globally, roughly 47% of the population, they fall into this age bracket, that is 11 years to 42 years. And in India, if you look into the Indian demographic statistics, you will find that roughly 52 to 56%, as I have picked up from different reports, 52 to 56, which is higher than the global average. So we can say that we can say we all understand that India is a country of young people. So today, broadly through these two generation cohorts, we will be understanding the buying behavior of young people. And we will be comparing and contrasting it with the previous generation. World is changing as we see, and so are our behavioral patterns. The technology has brought major influence on the way we work. Like when in our time in Generation X, we saw television, then we saw internet, then we saw social media, and then later on, now we are into a different world. Now, I think that all of us must be witnessing the power of Chat GPT, right? So different generations have witnessed different technologies, and it has created profound impact on their buying behavior. So we will look into all these things. So I think that without taking much time, I have already introduced you with the theme of the panel discussion on marketing. And let me quickly introduce the esteemed panel members here, who have taken their time out of their busy schedule and reach among us for having this wonderful discussion for common learning. So let me first start with Mr. Aditya Kumar. Aditya, he is the Director Digital Business at Growth Jockey, with expertise in aligning marketing objectives with brand strategy and delivering tailored digital solutions for diverse business. So Aditya is an accomplished marketer working in the field of technology. Then second panel member with me is Ravisha Bakshi. Ravisha Bakshi, she is the Business Lead Marketing Center of Excellence, Senior Marketing Manager at Hitachi Vantara, with 19 years of marketing experience across B2B, B2C, and B2S domain. Now, B2S is something that some of you might not have heard of. It is business to sustainability. Society. Okay. So that's one new thing that I think that we all have been introduced to. And we will be asking diverse set of questions looking into the background of these candidates. The third panel member with us is Mr. Sujoy Gupta. Hello. So welcome, Sujoy. Sujoy is Manager Pre-Sales working with HCL Technologies Limited, with a successful track record in business development, strategic planning, and consulting. Sujoy is also a very seasoned marketing professional with over 19 years of work experience. Then at my left, we have Ms. Reena Jha. Hello, Reena. Reena is the Senior Marketing Manager at Reliance Jio. Reliance Jio, very popular brand, with over 11 years of experience in digital marketing across diverse industries such as jobs and career, EdTech, real estate, and OTT. So she has quite diverse experience in this 11 years. And I think she's the one who has very deep consumer insight because of her work profile and previous work experience. We'll be definitely getting a lot of benefit out of interaction with her. Then we have Mr. Saket Anand. Saket Anand is the Regional Manager North India at Construction Specialties International India Private Limited. A very impressive company and a very impressive, equally impressive marketing professional Saket is, with a focus on enhancing building infrastructure and safety through practical solutions. Now, we will have an enriching discussion with these eminent personalities about the topic. The topic is decoding or deciphering the Millennials and Generation Z buying behavior. Buying behavior has evolved, particularly of this generation, has evolved over a period of time, and still it is evolving. And we need to understand that why in recent time, why this topic has become very important, significant, and contemporary. And one of the rationale that I have already given to the audience is that more than half of the population of India, 52 to 56%, they comprise Millennials and Generation Z. So for any marketer, it is almost next to impossible to overlook such a big population chunk. When I say 52% of Indian population, that roughly means 10% of the world population. 10%, 1/10 of the world population, even if we are considering the youth of India. So that's quite a big number. And this is one population who are really keen in spending money on variety of new products and services which are emerging and are being available in the market. Their purchase pattern, their life pattern, their spending pattern is very different from their previous generation. So we all need to explore these things. So we have certain questions which are divided into 5 different sections, and based on your subject expertise, the subject expertise of the panel member, I'll be asking these questions one by one. So we have such a diverse panel with great experience and knowledge into the area of marketing. Let's take full advantage of the collective learning of all the experts from industry who are present here for having better understanding of buying behavior of this younger generation, millennials and Generation Z. So the first generic question that I want to ask one by one to all the panels, let's start with some lady, I think. Can I start with you,
Yeah,
Reena?
sure.
Okay. So Reena, what's your understanding about the younger generation, how their behavior, how their purchase behavior particularly, because this is one thing that we marketers are interested in. And you can quote certain suitable examples that how their behavior, consumer behavior is different from the previous generation and the upcoming alpha generation.
Okay. So I believe the generation Y, which we say millennials, were more loyal towards any brand. They were less kind of experimental. If they stick to one brand, they mostly like to stick to one brand only. Like we all say, our parents, Colgate hi acha hai, right? But now the Gen Z are more experimental in nature. The moment they saw something new in market, provided they are providing a good value to them, they are ready to switch anytime, right? They are less loyal towards branding. They are, they are not stick to one brand only. They are more experimental in nature.
Right. Okay. Now let me pass on the same question to Aditya. Aditya, as we have understood out of what Reena has said, that the younger generation is relatively less brand loyal. That's one point that you have brought. Second point is that the current generation, that is what we all feel, that they want instant gratification.
Correct.
They cannot wait. Because we remember, like in our time, we used to wait for 1 month to get a simple telephone connection, the landline connection at our home.
Yeah.
But the current generation, they want the product fast, they
delivery.
want the services fast. So they want faster delivery and they believe in faster consumption. That's another point. Seamless experience. That's fantastic, Sujoy, that you have added. Can you add some new insight on that, how this younger generation, millennials and Generation Z is different in terms of their buying behavior, their consumption behavior, and the post disposal behavior or post service behavior?
Sure. So let me start with the fact that younger generation, that is Gen Z, is always looking for, like you must have heard the term 30 minutes, nahi to free. And our Domino's started that a long while. Millennials were hooked into it. Then Gen Z, who have been, from the birth, they have been into, tech. They have, they have born with all the technology around them. And they are like, they have taken those things for granted. I mean, I myself, being a millennial, I saw things, come up. I mean, the technology, the way we are using it now, they were like in initial stage at that time. But now when I see Gen Z people, I mean, they are, they use the smartphone as something which is the go-to device. सब कुछ उस पे कर सकते हैं. मतलब मोबाइल से पेमेंट कर दी हमने, and कुछ खरीदना है ऑनलाइन गए खरीद लिया हमने. और उनको आफ्टर सर्विस भी जो चाहिए तो they won't go and call you or something. They will just type something on Twitter that मेरे को यहाँ पे एक अच्छी सर्विस नहीं मिली, या I'm still waiting for some sort of answer from the company. So brands have also become very active on social media, that they have to consistently monitor and listen to what people are, asking of them, how they are being tagged. So, I mean, social media is playing a very important factor in, how people are being engaged with different people and brands as well. So I believe, I mean, social media is really where Gen Z are, taking advantage of how they are connecting with the brands and engaging with the brands.
Great. So we have Ravisha with us, and Ravisha, he's an expert in the area of green marketing. Her company is doing a lot to reduce the global carbon footprint.
Yeah.
And you are the one who is a champion on sustainability. Right? So B2S, that is business to social, that is one of the prominent keyword of your profile. So like there is one aspect of buying behavior, that is post-consumption behavior. That is how do the consumers they dispose of the remaining value of the product once they have used it. Here we are talking of eco-labeling. Here we are talking of green marketing practices. Here we are talking of disposing the product in such a manner so that without causing much damage to the ecosystem or environment.
Correct.
Right. So how do you think that these green marketing initiatives, eco-labeling, environmental friendly packaging, they're relevant. And does it influence the buying behavior of the younger generation of today, particularly Generation Z?
Yeah, certainly, Dr. Vivek Kumar. If we see, I mean, this Gen Z customers, consumers, they are well informed. They know what they are consuming. Giving you a very classic example, I was in Hyderabad, and then we saw some sellers, they were selling bagel and gluten-free bread, which was way too expensive, and it was packaged in the disposable and certain stuff which could be reproduced. So there was, I mean, I saw the craze, and then these millennials, most of the consumers were the millennials, and they were exploring that irrespective of the high cost, but still they were the ones who actually opted for that product. They purchased it, and then they really look forward to more and more such products, and then look deeper into the I would say ingredients. So yeah, they are really investing in sustainable products, and then also they are ready to pay extra money for that.
All right, thank you. So Sujoy, do you have something to add up to the ongoing discussion? Because we have already initiated conversation on this these two generation cohorts, right? So what you have to add to the ongoing discussion?
One important aspect which I would like to add, that Gen Z these days are they're very independent in taking decisions. They are actually, when they look forward for any purchase, they look for the value for money. One important aspect, because it is not like only the experience. They look forward that whatever they are paying, they are getting the exact worth of it or not. So for that reason, they are more aligned towards their that whether their interests are meeting with that purchase or not, whether their behavioral, whether their kind of a nature, all are actually adopted by the brands or the companies or not. Because these days we can't say that a customer is just a number. It is like we need to respect the value of that each customer. So when we get that kind of experience from any brand or from any company, that they align to our interest, then it is very easy to become trust to that company, to become loyal to that company, and we will sustain for a longer time. So that is one important aspect where they look forward for the value, exact value. However, if I would compare with the millennials, like I belong to millennials, so in our days also, we always felt that experience is one of the important factors, right? So many a times we choose not to buy through online, rather just visit a store and buy on things, because we can see, we can touch, we can get the delivery immediately, right? So that mentality, that attitude difference between these two generations, they want value, they want seamless experience as well, but on the other side, they want that it has to meet their own needs rather than a kind of a generic kind of a product which they are getting in. So I would say that this is one of the important key aspects which definitely we should consider, even when the company should consider that they value the each and every customer, they value their interestedness and all those things.
Okay. Saket, you are a professional who is working in the construction industry. So like looking at the kind of projects on which your company might be working with your clients or associates, looking at the requirement of millennials in terms of housing or in terms of workplace, what kind of aesthetics that they do, or what kind of value that they look for when they invest in the houses or commercial spaces?
I would like to say, basically, if I speak about the millennials, millennials are like what they really want, as my co-panelist said, they are always looking for the experiences. Like, so what is the experience that we are going to grab from XYZ amount of money, what we are going to invest? But when it comes about the Gen Z, they are more concentric, or what I would say, they are looking into the aesthetics things, like what my role model is offering, or how she is living her life. So they are more interested, or they wanted to get lifestyle like that only. Whether when it is about their room, their houses, their villa, you talk about anything. What exactly they want? They just wanted to copy the social media influencer, what they are looking, their style, the way they are living, the way they are working, the way they are doing their thing. Second thing, what I would like to add, one more point is like they want to add innovative product. Like what if any company is providing them the innovative product, definitely they just give you an opportunity. They will use your product, and definitely if your customer service is good, apart from your innovation in terms of product, if you are giving a good services to your client, basically to the Gen Z, because we millennials we can do it for a couple of days to get the response, but Gen Z is not going to do it. They just want instant result. If you have a superior customer service, you have innovative product, definitely they will impact their buying behavior, and the upcoming companies can think of two these factors apart from the my co-pilot system, the innovative products and the customer service, I would say.
Okay. Now, there's a different question in terms of the media consumption habits of the current generation, younger generation. Like there was a time when many of us, we used to be the captive audience. Like there was a time I remember we used to visit to cinema halls, like even millennials, they also visit to cinema halls. I don't know about the Generation Z because their media consumption is mostly confined to OTT nowadays, and they're consuming more of the digital content online, that is through live streaming.
Yeah.
But I remember good old times of single screen cinema where we used to be like captive audience.
Yeah.
If I'm there, I have paid for the cinema ticket. I am there to watch that movie. Now, before that movie, I had to watch the commercials of Nirma washing powder. that jingle, it cannot,
Exactly.
you can never ever forget it. It is so memorable because I received that jingle sitting in a dark room where there was no exposure to any other thing. So those jingles become very memorable, like especially of washing powders, Nirma or Hipolin or Vimal washing powder of old time. Probably I'm giving you examples of certain brands which you may not be able to relate in your time, because your time these brands were not that popular, right? Some new brands of MNCs, HUL or P&G, they got involved in detergent.
Yeah.
Now, suppose there is a company who's into such grocery products or FMCG products, and if they have to grab the eyeballs or attention of the Generation Z, the Zoomers, where they should pitch in, what kind of media that they should use, which can catch their eyeballs. Any one of you would like to? Yes, Ravi.
It has to be omni-channel. Just giving you a classic example, Amazon Go, because the Gen Zs want to buy at the utmost ease. By the time it is ordered on the via phone, there's no cashier there. Your products are packed. Just go pay and you are out within few minutes. That is a seamless experience. That is what the retailers should adopt with Gen Zs in coming times.
Okay.
And also, I would like to add to this, because FMCG products are, they are not something like you will see something different or online, or you will see something offline. They will remain same. And that is why the Gen Z don't want to say, oh, I'm going to mall just to buy the biscuits or the oil or the things. So they prefer these FMCG products should be on online. So I believe online presence for these kind of products is very much important.
That's quite meaningful. That's quite.
I can add something to this.
Yeah, please.
For example, a lot of brands have started doing this. You watch it online, see it online, and then go visit their store and buy it from there,
Right.
or pick it up from there.
Absolutely.
I mean, you don't have to wait for delivery. I mean, this is how omni-channel experience is being built on. So I think that is something which we really need to look at forward to.
Yes, Sujoy, you wanted to say something.
I would just would like to add one point that this influencing power, right? Earlier in our days, we get influenced by our friend circle, our social society, and all those things. These days, that culture has shifted. Now the Gen Z are more influenced by the social reviews, the bloggers, right? The kind of product which customer has purchased, what review they are giving.
Right.
So they do a lot of research work. While in our times, we were not getting access to those information, to those details. So we got very limited options, and it's like a word of mouth, right? If 10 people say that this brand is good, we believe in that. We have not done any research. However, these days, even 100 people say to a Gen Z person that this brand is the topmost brand, even if that person knows for the first time, he or she will do that research, right? He will explore that internet, explore data, information, and then only he will he or she will believe in that product, that whether it is the good or not, right? So one important factor, the influencing factor. These days, the Gen Z are more influenced by the digital content, right? By the social media or the bloggers or the reviewers. So that is one important aspect which even brands should adopt to enhance their business character.
One more thing I would like to add, that is the authenticity of anything. Because let's suppose you're marketing at any place, let it be FB or let it be your YouTube or let it be any other platform. But what will happen? Your Gen Z will buy one time one product and they will review it like anything. So whatever you are about to sell or you are selling, you just have the authenticity because they people are those who will use from your product and they are in habit of writing the reviews.
Correct.
What he has like just said. So that's why we must have to carry the authenticity of our product. We should not promote it like that it is one of the best product or it is one of the finest product. But if that product is good, so authenticity should be there so that the user should get that feel so that they can get good number of what we say the reviews. Because if your product is not good, you can invest a lot of time and like amount on the marketing process or other things. Your product will go one round. But when it comes about the reviews, definitely that will give you a negative feedback when it comes about the then Z. So definitely authenticity should be there, and the innovation of the product is the second factor, I would say.
Okay. As we can see that technology is influencing life of everyone, irrespective of which generation they belong to. Now we should see today that even starting from the kids who are in 5 to 7 years of age group, they get exposed to the technology very early because the busy parents, they just in order to get rid of the
Smartphones.
kids, sometime when they are noisy, they give them smartphones and they engage and consume a lot of data. And sometimes from where they reach, where parents never get to know from. So the consumption of technology, it is across all generation. Even older people now, they are on Facebooks, they are on Instagrams, they are on Twitter, and they are forwarding the messages on social media. So it is one thing which is influencing almost everyone. But particularly if we talk of millennials and Generation Z, they are the smarter user as compared to the earlier generation. They know how to use the technology in a smarter way for their advantage. Now, coming at the purchase pattern, like still like many of us, we prefer going to the shopping mall, going through the assortment and then finding out what is best for us. We give some time visiting to shop and talking to people, meeting them personally, and then deciding what to buy. Online shopping has a lot of influence on all of us, particularly to younger generation. Now, what do you think would be the future of traditional retail, considering looking at the Generation Z and future generation? Any one of you who would like to answer this question? Aditya, would you like to?
Sure. So, I mean, I think we already touched upon this topic a little bit when we were talking about this omni-channel experience that we were just, talking about a bit earlier. So I would just like to expand on that. So what happened was a lot of brick and mortar stores who were earlier just a brick and mortar store during the pandemic period, which had a significant impact on, all the younger generations wherein they could not go out, but they wanted to experience or see, what kind of products were available and how could that particular brick and mortar store reach out to them. So then in where it came in that they should be present online as well. And once, if you look at after this period, what happened, the e-retailers who were just online, they thought they now need a physical presence as well. So exact opposite happened. So the brick and mortar stores are getting online, and online stores, they are getting physical stores for the experience part of it. I mean, so that people can just walk in, experience what is on the offer and experience the product the way they are meant to. I mean, like, for example, how they will actually, for example, if it's a phone, how will it feel in their hand? I mean,
look and feel kind of.
Exactly. I mean, take an example of like OnePlus. I mean, it started and it built on FOMO, fear of missing out. I mean, we will launch on this day. Just book your calendar. आ जाओ तो मिल जाएगा नहीं तो नहीं मिलेगा types. So now they have stores. I mean, they have stores. People can just walk into the store and buy the phone from there, and they don't have to wait for them to say it will be available on this particular date, and you have to wait. So I mean, this is each brand and every brand who is into e-commerce or
Right, right.
has a brick and mortar store, they are coming online, or the online store is going offline, because that is the kind of experience everyone is looking for. And I believe this is here to stay.
And I would like to add two classic examples here. One is Lenskart, which,
Yes.
Yeah.
they were earlier online and now they have to speak
Stores.
online, right?
Yeah.
And another example of, Blue Stone, right? Or the Jiva jewelry industry,
Yes.
right? Because they were offline they were online and they will also have to go offline,
Yeah.
because their conversion was not happening, right? Because in jewelry, we want to touch, experience kind of thing.
Correct.
So
Okay. Another important issue for today's panel discussion is ethical considerations and sustainability. Do the current generation, young generation, they care for ethical consideration and sustainability? And does it influence their buying behavior? Can you give some examples of some company violating the ethical consideration or sustainability issue, and which might have negatively impacted the sale of that product, particularly among younger generation?
I think if I talk about this, one of the recent examples, I mean, I would say Maggie.
Like,
I mean, some case came up that something is in their product which is not
MSC.
good for the growth of the younger kids, their brain function and all, and it got banned. And but I would say their team and marketing or ethics, which they later on brought in, they roped in moms to talk about on TV, and how they portrayed the things completely differently. I mean, for example, it was like कि अगर माँ बोल रही है तो अच्छा होगा, सही होगा. So, and the thing completely turned around. I mean, from negative publicity to really wholesome, good, positive publicity. I mean, and it was a complete turnaround. They completely came back into the forefront again.
I have something very interesting to add here, particularly about the differences between generation Y, that is millennials, your generation, and generation Z, that is the generation next to you.
Yes.
Like your own company, SCL, right? They launched their laptop with a brand name of Me.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Sujo is actually.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Suja. So Suja, SCL, right?
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
Now, like that was quite interesting brand, and we all got intrigued that Me, and it was focused on generation Y, millennial. Because probably the company, they did their study and they thought that this particular generation, they care a lot about themselves.
Yeah.
But the next generation, I think that they are more diverse. Generation Z is more diverse, and their sensitivity towards ethical consideration and sustainability issue, it is little bit more as compared to the generation Y. That is my feeling, which I'm sharing with you. The panel members can have disagreement on this point. Like it is also like one of the possibility that you may say that the older generation, they might be having more sensitivity. What's your viewpoint on that?
I believe I can add that sustainability and the social connect, the social cause, these things, some of the topics which are where Gen Z are more aware of it, and they are actually practically involved in those kind of causes or those kind of things, where they want a product which should not only give a kind of a customer experience, they should also be socially responsible. They should give back to society as well. They are not like a business centric, just the revenue, just the growth only. In turn, they should do some kind of a CSR, which we call it as a customer social responsibility, corporate social responsibility. Right? So on that front, all the organizations have to come up and they have to contribute towards all the social cause. And in a holistic view, in a complete ecosystem, we evolve everybody equally, kind of a thing. So the sustainability, the social cause, the ethical practice, all these things are very, very important for all the organization to adopt and to adhere to that, because that will give you a kind of a long-term relationship with this society, with the people from where they come up, right? So it is very important to focus on your business on the other hand, in parallel, to focus on the society, to focus on the overall development of the society. And for that, they need to adopt some ethical practice. They need to adopt the CSR practice, do some corporate social responsibilities, right? So this is very important fact where the Gen Z are more aware of it, and they want that even I'm getting a benefit of this product, is that company doing something for a poor person, poor people, right? To that underprivileged segment of that our society. If they see that kind of a connect with the underprivileged sector of the society, they feel that this company is actually working in a holistic manner. So there is a possibility that they will respect the value of a customer as well as the outside of that kind of a group, right? So very important thing. We cannot just say that this product is good. We cannot just publicize the features only. Apart from that, the Gen Z are more aware, they are more independent, they are more knowledgeable, I would say, in the recent time, because they have more information. So they can explore, they can do their research, and they can come to a conclusion that, okay, whether company A or whether company B, who are like we can say that is a company as a whole, who can work in a holistic manner for the complete society, yeah, apart from their business as well. So it is very important that brands should get into that, should involve in those kind of things where they are also giving back to society. All right. So
that was a great insight. Now, sustainability is about responsible consumption of resources, like how we are using the resources, or whether we are thinking of leaving the resources for future generation or not.
exactly
The rate at which we are consuming the natural resources, which are non-renewable particularly, probably if that rate will continue, maybe in next 10 years, we will be needing at least 2 more planets like Earth to meet our resource requirements.
Exactly.
And that is what many agencies, they are predicting. So sustainability has become a necessity today. It is not something which is good to have, but it is a necessity. Now, if we talk to the current generation Z, because of the introduction of sustainability in their course curriculum, they are getting aware, they are becoming more environmental conscious at quite early age. Another thing, their media consumption, because they have access to the technology, internet, they are reading a lot about that, and they are discussing a lot on this sustainability. You are doing a lot of work on sustainability, Ravisha. So would you like to give us some example on sustainability that you have practiced particularly, and how they have helped your customers, particularly the next generations or the younger generations?
Sure. So first, we have to really understand what is sustainability. Sustainability is basically providing best quality of product and with less wastage. So every organization is a must-have to have this in their strategy. And talking about Hitachi Vantara, sustainability is an integrated and an integral part of our business strategy, our marketing strategy. Our GTM comprises green, digital, and social. All our products and services have a sustainability component, whether it is a technology product, whether it is a industrial product, or whether it is infrastructure, anything. I mean, sustainability component is definitely there. And I believe that sustainability is something which is very futuristic in nature. And if we are not investing on sustainability, we are really missing a big chunk. It will be a missed opportunity.
Okay, that's great to know. Now, let's have some questions on the customer engagement and brand loyalty. And I think the best person will be Saket Anand to give us some illustrious examples and some suitable strategies that brands can use in order to have better engagement with the young consumers and enhancing their loyalty. So we would like to hear from you, Saket.
As I told earlier, first one would be the like innovative products. Like the innovation is the key thing which either millennials and Gen Z both are looking at present. If you are producing innovative product, definitely that generation is with you. If you are having a good customer support, that generation is with you. If you are having a good marketing strategy when it comes about the social media, because nowadays people, Gen Z and millennials both are very much active over the social media. Whether it be any Twitter, Facebook, or any other social media, they people are like eating those medias like anything. So in terms of growing any business, we have to we have to make these three things into consideration. Make your social presence very better. Keep it authentic. Whatever you're going to sell, make it authentic. And third thing is like the product that should have some value. Values in terms of I can say in terms of the natural aspects as well. In comes to like the upcoming generations and the generations which are going to use that thing as well. Because if the product is adding some value to their life, definitely they are going to use that product. They are going to recommend that product, and definitely they will read that product as well. Apart from the social media is one of the factor which is the most important things, and the customer support is one of the best things. So I would say anybody or any brand which is focused on these three factors definitely is going to get the good chunk of business from Gen Z and millennials as well. If I speak about the Indian brands, let it be Paytm, Flipkart, Zomato, they have enhanced their probability. They are like doing good when it comes about the millennials and Gen Z both. If I speak about the Amazon has came from the generation Y now. Now, like we all are using that thing as well. Even similar for pattern for the Facebook as well. So I will say these are the factors on which the upcoming companies or the company which are working upon should focus on to build their brand.
Okay, that's very nice to hear. Now, branding is very important, particularly for a company to have their presence in the market and to build a long-lasting impression on the mind of customer. Now, there have been multiple number of brands which have evolved over a period of time. Some brands have become traditional, some brands are contemporary. Probably the kind of graphic imagery or the kind of communication that those brands they were using in older times, they might be fitting well with the values of the generation of that time.
Exactly.
Many brands lost their value over a period of time. Some of them, they regenerated their value by bringing changes into their display, the way they were projected to their target audience. They understood that the new audience is changing, and accordingly, they have made changes in their strategy. Because I remember the advertisements of Thumbs Up.
Yeah.
Earlier, the advertisement of Thumbs Ups, they were focusing on the rebel. The youth were shown as the rebel, right? And now the current younger generation, they are not rebel because they have lived a different kind of life. They are pampered by their moms and dads. Absolutely. So there is no rebel. Like earlier generations, they used to be rebel. So that message has changed, particularly to suit to the younger generation. Thumbs Up has changed their communication strategy. The angry young men do not exist anymore. So that angry young men, particularly for the youth brands, it has been removed with a different kind of where permissive kind of parents have taken the place. Earlier, like the parents were portrayed as enemies in the brand communications. Now they are portrayed as facilitator, as supporter, inclusive, right? So that's one example that I have given here. Like 5-star advertisement, right? There was an aggressive coach who was pushing hard a girl to perform her best. But now the coach, they act more as a facilitator rather than being very strict to the generation, right? Can you give me some more examples of how companies they have changed their communication strategy to cater to the younger generation?
Definitely, I would like to add one example of Titan. Titan watch, I believe. Titan used to be a scientific watch जो समझदार लोग पहनते थे. Now they have renovated their brand as a fast track, which is for the youth who do not have time, who are quick. Their design are innovative, जो Generation Z and Millennials को अच्छा लगे. So they have evolved a different brand from the house of Titan, and that is the fast track is one thing. Apart from that, they have also tried to capture the market by selling like one more like that product is deos and other things. So they came into the
Skin.
Skin tighten.
They launched that product is skin as well, just to differentiate their brand image. What you have said earlier. Prior to that, it used to be like that. Titan is just for the watches and for people who samajhdar log hai. But now Titan is trying to grab their market share from those segments as well.
So they have changed their messaging
To the, I can recall the Titan example from there.
exactly. That's
Okay, so like before we started this panel discussion, we were holding an informal communication, and there I was hearing you people discussing about use of emotions and humor in advertising.
Yeah.
Now, we all know as marketers that consumers are more rational. They are more emotional. They're less rational, more emotional.
More emotional.
Of course, like rationality has to be at the prime position, but emotions, they always take over. So how emotionally this new generation, they perceive the message, and accordingly, what should be the clue for marketers, and accordingly they should make the brand messages or communication. Adit, you would like to answer this question?
Sure, I can do that. So let me give you an example how we do this or how one of the brands did it. So for example, what was happening, they had positioned themselves as someone who is into taking care of what's happening, like for example, water saving. How kids are not able to study in rural places because they are not able to get the water. They have to go and fetch the water, and they are not able to get the purified water or pure water because they have to go and fetch it. And how this organization used this in one of the digital ads, and they showed a lady who is just using purified water and giving it to her kid, whereas the maid who works in her house has a similar aged kid, but when she asks that which class or which school do you go to, and that kid tells, I don't go to school because I have to go and get water. I mean, we don't have a drinkable water because we have to fetch it. And that's how this particular brand played on the minds of the audience of the segment, because the younger audience is very receptive to such social causes, because this particular brand is doing something about a particular cause and they want to support it. And this is how you gain attraction or gain attract the Gen Z audience, because they care about social causes. And then even if we talk about other things, like for example gender equality and all those causes, they like to they are very pro about all these causes, not unlike the older generations who were more like apna kaam se kaam karke khatam.
Right.
So that kind of mentality.
Yeah, one point I would like to add in this Nadit's thing, that these days Gen Zs are more like they are inclusive, so that diversity kind of things are like they are more acceptable towards that. So one classic example I just recall is about that Fair and Lovely, right? So they made that kind of a publicity or kind of a thing that it's fair and lovely, right? So there's a discrimination. There's a kind of a thing which this generation is not accepting it, right?
Yes.
You are just targeting to one segment of the customers. So they protested that thing, right? They started protesting at that level that the company has to change its name from Fair and Lovely to Glow and Lovely, right?
Yes.
So this kind of a thing which Gen Z has brought up, that kind of a thing that you can't do your traditional ways of marketing or branding, right? Whatever has done in the past, in the previous generation, that is okay. But we are not going to ready to accept your whatever you just sell it, right? There has to be some logic, there has to be some rationale towards it, that why you are brand or marketing is like that, right? So this one thing which I would like to add, that diversity is one of the things where people wants to brands or companies to align towards that.
That's quite reasonable to understand that the current generation, they are more inclusive. More inclusive. Their view towards many things, particularly towards gender roles, right? They are more receptive to LGBT community.
Yes.
Particularly Generation Z. Their outlook is very different as compared to the previous generations. Previous generations, they were quite close to all these discussions even. They were forbidden in all these discussions. The new generation is more open. And it is a general trend. as we keep on progressing ahead in our civilization, the younger generation, they are smarter, they are more open, they are more modern, they are more broad-minded. So this is a general phenomenon that we all are observing.
One more thing I would like to add, like it is like accept me as I am. Do not
Yeah.
make me like
Right,
what
right.
you wanted to make me.
Exactly.
I mean like if God has given me that feature that I'm interested in men only, then accept me like that only. Do not push me for anything else. Like sir has said, it's about the LGBTQ. So I would like to add like more Gen Z people are coming up with the rainbow trends. If I'll speak Color Bar or if I'll speak any other company who are focusing on rainbow colors, basically related to those community only and the people, because I know color bar at a good ratio. The people who are working for that segment are Gen Z only. They are in between 20, 21, 22, 3 years. Boys and girls who are making fashion designs, who are looking for the trends, upcoming trends, because they're like accept me as like jo main hu wo hu. Do not try to change me now. So this is the thing what they are having in their mind, back of the mind.
And
So
just to add to this point, to Saket's point, if you see brand like Sabyasachi, they have accepted, they have models of all, I would say, complexion and
Yes.
height, likewise, and people are changing their communique, and they're really adjusting it too, and they're super flexible.
Right. So it would be quite comfortable and wise to say that the current generation Z, they are quite acceptable. They respect a lot of inclusiveness. They have more gender sensitivity.
Yeah.
And it's all positive science. It is all positive science from a conservative society.
Yeah.
We are becoming more modern society, more acceptable to the world.
Yeah.
And one important phenomena, which I believe is because of the global exposure that these kids, they have got at the early stage. I remember in old time, in Generation X period, there used to be very few people who used to get global exposure. Now, Mary auntie America se aayi, mere liye ye lekar aayi, that people used to use it as a status symbol to show off the thing.
Yeah.
Now, almost every neighborhood, somebody has gone abroad, work abroad, lived abroad, took their kids outside with them. They did some few years of their schooling in some modern Western country. They returned back. When they came back, they brought all the exposure with them, which brought a lot of inclusivity in their thinking.
Correct.
I recall, like, when I took my daughter abroad with me for the first time, she was quite young and she got exposed to some good practices. When she came back to India at that time, like, she always started carrying the waste papers or wrappers of chocolates in her pocket. And sometime it was a bit irritating to me, and I used to say, why don't you throw it? And she would always search for some dustbin to throw it. And she organized one campaign within the community where she joined hands with other kids of her age group, and they collected all the garbage from the garden and they put it into the dustbin. So yes, this global exposure particularly is one of the factors that the new kids are getting at the early age because of the opening up of Indian economy. The Indians are getting more global exposure.
Correct.
Coming back, they see those things and then they expect similar things. Probably, like, maybe someday in future, the traffic problem of Delhi will also get improved. People will learn some driving sense, because people of our Generation X, Generation Y, we are not so civilized when it comes to the driving on the road.
Absolutely.
Right. But definitely, if we pick up some good practices from West, right? I'm not saying that we should forget totally our Indian culture. We have many better things within our country.
But this
yes,
is why
yes.
Gen Z is also called global citizens,
Global
Yeah.
cities.
Yeah.
Exactly.
because they acquire and adapt the good practices of the cultures they were.
Right.
They are not just within that kind of an Indian kind of a culture. They are
the
now
circumference
broad enough. Exactly.
increase like anything.
Exactly.
Because of the internet, because of the accessibility.
Social media, they are very connected.
Other thing. So the moment if I speak about the school going children who's going to the school, he knew more about the other countries, other curriculum. Nowadays, school have started providing Cambridge like a curriculum
kind of
and other things. When I was in school, there was only CBSE or the state board. But now, if you will look for the other things, so people have like schools have come up with the apart from ICC, they are having Cambridge. They are following Cambridge's syllabus or some other global syllabus as well. That is for the highest degrees as well. So globally, everything is global nowadays. So the kids are.
Now, there's one more interesting fact which I think we all must have observed, that is the work preferences, how they have changed over a period of time. There was a time when there used to be limited job availability. The focus was on career stability, finding a job,
Exactly.
no matter whether we like that job or not. Like suppose I give examination for sub-inspector, if I cannot clear it, then I will apply for bank PO. If I fail there, then I will apply for some other job, so teaching job, right? So main priority was getting a job somehow, anywhere. But see, the millennial generation, when they came, they believed in more freedom. And the younger generation now, we are all watching Shark Tanks. Younger kids, they are watching.
Interest.
And it's like independent YouTubers, quick money.
So they are more entrepreneurs.
Right, more entrepreneurs. So like companies also have to think of this particular trend in terms of job preferences. Like all of you must be observing that new workforce might be entering into your companies. You all are at mid-level senior positions. So you all must be watching new employees coming. So what kind of challenges that you are facing while dealing with the younger generation to get your jobs done? That's a different perspective, no, though not very much related with marketing, but yes, it has the generation aspect. So that's why I raised this question.
I can add to that question. This generation are like they are very quick and fast. The speed of their output is very quick than our generation. We always believe in the perfection. Our generation always believes in perfection, that no matter what, if we have to spend some more time to get a kind of 100% accurate output, we'll spend more. However, this generation, it's not like that they don't want the quality product, they want quality output, but the response time is very quick. So even if you give them some kind of a task or some kind of a challenging situation, they are very quick and very responsive, I would say, and they have logic as well with the current scenario, because they see that the speed is one of the thing. If you do not match up, you will lag behind, right? If I want to get some output to deliver to the market within 1 week of time, and I spend researching on that thing, doing R&D for 6th day, and I just launch it on the 10th or 15th day, some other company will come and launch it, right? With better features. So speed is one of the things where the Gen Z is actually having that quality, that attribute, which millennials are slowly, gradually accepting it, right? They are more towards that, the stability, the accuracy, the perfection, right? And Gen Z are more like how quick you can deliver that output to the wider customer, right? So here I would say that the cultural differences, the upbringing, so this comes into picture, which definitely the experience will not go in vain, right? The experience what we carry, right? So they are adopting that experience also, that knowledge from us also, but we also have to be very flexible to accept their ideas, because sometimes it happens. I've seen many practical examples where they have a good idea, but the thing is that to change it will take a lot of effort. So the millennials are not ready to bring that change, though that change will bring a longer term result, but they at that point in time they are not ready to accept that. So I would say that the millennials should also be more flexible to adopt the mindset of the Gen Z, and we have to work in a cohesive manner, I would say. Then only we can bring a common goal, we can achieve a common goal of the organization. So that is one important aspect that I would like to add.
So Ravisha, we would like to hear from you as well on this aspect, because a lot many younger people from the next generation, they might be joining your organization as well.
Yes.
So what you have learned about those new employees who have recently joined?
Yeah, so a lot of NCGs, new college graduates, they join our company, and fortunately got the opportunity to do the employee engagement programs for them, I must say. And then that was a cross-functional group, and it's overall. So I can give you, the complete 360-degree perspective. Definitely, they are well-read. They are very conscious. They are very conscious about their progression. trust me, I was not that conscious about my own progression, how I will start and how my career will shape up. I started with Hotel Intercontinental, and if you see my whole journey, it is like from the agency to corporate to B2B to B2C to B2S, here and there, everywhere.
Right.
But the best part of my experiences that I feel proud about is that I'm a full stack marketer. I'm a shapeshifter. I learned hard way, but the Gen Zs are fully conscious. They know where they are and where they want to go. What's now, what's next for them. It's pretty clear to them. But for us, we have to craft that canvas. We have to experience. And then there were certain circumstances also. I mean, we were the ones, I mean, really, we saw Lehman Brothers crash. We saw pandemic. We observed whatnot. I mean, that
Y2K
attacks,
Yes.
that 26/11 attacks, etc. So everything affected hospitality industry. So yeah, I mean, we all had our share of the great experiences and the great challenges.
Great.
So yeah.
That reminds me of one of the stage of the psychosocial stages development theory given by one psychologist. It's by Eric Erikson. So it explains that they progress through 8 different stages of psychological conflicts. For younger generation, the major psychological conflict is identity versus role confusion. The next stage is intimacy versus isolation, whether to get into some stable relationship or stay alone and experimental. Right, that is the next stage. But the major conflicting attribute which influence the youngsters, right? We are talking of Generation Z right now, who are 11 to 26, must be in the early stage of their career. Identity versus role confusion. Now, what is being observed throughout the generation? Now, people gradually they're overcoming the role confusion and they are understanding their identity sooner. And they know what exactly they have to do.
Exactly.
Right. The same point that I reinforced, that people, in earlier generation, they simply wanted to get a job. Then millennials, they believed in gigs, that is working as a freelancer.
Yeah.
The younger generation, they are very sure, even at the early stage, that what they want to do. Like I remember, like in our times, the science was the most popular option.
Yeah.
If you're not opting for science after 10th class, that means you are not a good student. That is how you were labeled as.
Society discriminates.
Right. So society discriminates. But what we observe today is that some of the brightest students who score pretty high score in 10th class, they opt for humanity. Yeah. So
I would like to add here, I mean, there's a
Yes.
lot of craze now, people joining politics with Rishi Sunak, with
Yes.
Vijay Ramaswamy filing in for 2024 elections, and then a lot of my friends, acquaintances, arts and humanities was a big no at that point in time, but now again it has got another craze.
Yeah.
I know it's a little off topic, but it is important. So see how they are so conscious. How Gen Z is so conscious that they know that how they will capitalize if they learn this, and then this is how they're going to progress. So, yeah.
now about relationship, I remember very vividly, like when I was an MBA student, my marketing teacher, when she was teaching us this topic, generation cohorts, she was teaching us about the traditionalists, the baby boomers, the generation X. At that time, that millennials and generation Z was not introduced when I did my MBA. So just to understand our relationship patterns or how much importance we give to relationships, she raised one question casually in the class, particularly to boys, because even the gender ratio was not that quite equal in our class. Majority of the boys, few girls. So we used to have tough competition for resources. Right? So see, she asked one simple question, that how many of you would prefer to marry a working woman? Right? And how many of you prefer to marry a girl whom you want to work as a housewife or homemaker? And there was only one boy in my class who raised his hand that he would prefer to marry with a working woman. Right? It's not long time back. I'm telling you the story of 1999. Right?
Okay.
So that was the situation. And now, if you see, particularly when I was teaching to Generation Y, I recall that incidents of my own college days. I asked this question to my students, Generation Y, some 1 decade back, the same question. And I saw that almost 70-80% boys, they wanted to marry a working woman because they do not wanted to take all financial responsibility on themselves. They wanted to have an equal partner. The average age of getting married is also increasing day by day. Like Generation X, probably their marriage age used to be somewhere in between, say, in 20s, right? Now, millennial generations, they have delayed it to the late 20s and early 30s, 28 to 32. And when you ask this question to Generation Z, they are not very sure about this idea of having a stable relationship or marriage. I think this is one important message which marketers need to understand, particularly to communicate with the new generation, right? Though they have their own cited advantages or disadvantages, right? See, what I tell to my students majority of time, that I feel lucky that still my grandmother was alive at that time, right? But many of them, they will not be that fortunate. Their kids will not be, if they get married at the age of 40 or 35, probably people will be getting their child at the age of, say, some late 40 or early 50. And by the time that kid will attain the age of 20, what to talk of grandparents? Even the parents will not be alive. There will not be any social support. So when looking at this trend, people delaying their marriage, people delaying their childbirth, don't we see a future where majority of the people, they will be left alone without having parents or the caretakers to look after the elder generation? That is one problem which that probably the future has in store for the next generations, because of, first thing, delaying the marriage. Second thing, so first they delay the marriage. Then what happened? Both the husband and wife, they are in the pressure of attaining their career targets. So they keep on delaying their first. And that gives rise to a different market. The heat and eat food, the ready to eat food, the pre-cut, pre-mix chutney mix, you bring it, or the frozen parathas, right? A paratha which was probably manufactured 3 months back, you are buying it, eating it and consuming it. Sometimes I think that my grandmother is lucky that she has not seen that time. She wouldn't have comfortably digested it. Why? Because she believed in fresh preparation of rotis and paratha and consumption on the same day. So, see, this is a phenomena that we see: double income, no kids, husband and wife, dink families, what we call. Double income, no kids families, like they are on rise. And they continue for quite long. And marketers are seeing them as an opportunity, and they're coming up with instant food. Instant food. Probably that is meeting their need, but is it good for their health? That is another question. Another question. Many such kind of products are being targeted for them because they're cash rich, but time poor.
They don't have time.
They have a lot of money because both of them are working, so they have double income. Earlier, one person used to earn and they used to have 7-8 kids. So that was enough. One person earning was enough to sustain a family of 8 or 9. But today, even 2 persons earning is not enough to sustain a family of 2 or 3. And many of the people, though they delay their first child, then they decide not to have any further because of financial constraints. They want to live their life, right? So aren't we moving towards the kind of the demographic pattern that is being seen in Japan today? Maybe India will also witness the similar demographic pattern, a country of old people.
Definitely, yes, I would say.
But I think it's still a bit far. India is still like 55% young.
Yes, and we are able to protect our generation, like age diversity, because of, say, the majority of rural population. Still they are holding the age-old Indian traditional values, and because of that, still some traditionality is left in our culture. What we are discussing right now, maybe it applies to the urban population, and the younger generation of urban population who are exposed to the global culture. But still, there is a large chunk of Indian population who are not exposed to all those, though they all have access to the OTT now at their homes. Thanks to the 4G and the access of internet
5G.
availability, even in those villages where there is no availability of safe, potable drinking water, the 4G internet connections are available and they can watch any content.
Exactly.
So just imagine a boy sitting in a village where, the parents or the family members, they are using a hand pump to fill the water, and he's watching YouTube or he's watching the fashion TV on his 4G mobile. So his aspirations are much more as compared to the youth of village, say 10 years back or 20 years back. And that is also giving a rise because that high aspirations or exposure to urban content, that is giving them a rise. See, they have two options. Number one, they can create similar kind of atmosphere in their village, what they see and aspire for when they consume the media, which is difficult. Easy thing is migrate. Now, don't you think that it will increase more migratory pressure to the cities? And do you think that our cities or the companies, they are ready to, or would they be, though this is a very broad question that I am asking, and I think it is a question which should be asked to a bigger forum, where policymakers and administrators, they also have to think of all these things, right? How we can bring the sustained balanced development within the country so that the youth, they don't need to migrate to other places for search of job or for search of better quality of lifestyle.
I think I can answer it better. Like nowadays, if we see, tier 2 cities are developing like anything. So tier 2 cities in terms of giving opportunities, in terms of best infrastructure, or in terms of anything which you can expect from a tier 1 cities or metropolitan cities. Let it be metro. You can see metro is moved from Delhi to tier 2 cities as well. You ask about any company, any MNCs having offices in tier 2 cities, they are making offices in tier 2 cities as well. Or if I will see the pay scale of tier 2 cities, they are also trying to match the pay scale of tier 2 cities just to stop you migrate so that they can get better opportunities in the area the people are residing at.
We can also add to this that because of the pandemic, what has happened is people have started working from home, and a lot of people during the pandemic also went to their native places and they were working from home, and which has slowly become a culture for Gen Z. I mean, they want to work in a hybrid model kind of a situation wherein they can, at times come to the office or at times, work from their home. And this particular culture, I think, can support, jobs for tier 2 or tier 3 cities, wherein there are people who are quite capable. They have the skill set or mindset to work for those particular companies, and some of the companies have really opened up to this particular concept of working from home or a hybrid model, wherein some people can join in from like, for example, we are doing this call on Zoom, so similar tech we can use, and this is what is helping.
COVID has brought us this blessing in disguise. Even out of pandemic, we could see one silver lining that work from home, it has provided an opportunity to many people to go back to their native place. And I think that if the same trend will continue, many people, when they are given opportunity to work from the location where they are, the migratory requirement would not be there. And in that way, we can have a balanced regional development. Those people, when they stay there, they'll also try to create or improve the quality of lifestyle around them in the place where they are. And definitely it is going to add more balance in terms of development across all regions of the country.
I would like to add one more thing, like the company which I am currently working upon, and this is the consulting specialty. We don't have any offices in the region which I'm working for. We do have head office in Mumbai only. We are having a team of very good people, but we are working from home only. The entire ecosystem is working from home. There is no reporting pattern. We do not have to log in, or we do not have to log out. We do not have anything to sit and discuss about what are your targets and how you are doing, how we are achieving. What matters is we do have a set of companies' values which you have to adhere that values, and we have to do our work. That's it. So I would say these kind of things will definitely help people to not to migrate from tier 2 to tier 1 cities, because they can work sitting at their home. And the companies nowadays are also supporting them to do it.
That's right.
Now, I think that we have reached to a very mature stage of our discussion. I think that the right time has come when we should start discussing about future. Future is something that is yet to come. That is yet to come. But yes, definitely the technology has given us some impetus, and we know the past trend. And we are all imaginative. We are watching science fiction, because what was science fiction 50 years back, today it has become reality.
Yes,
Exactly.
So what is science fiction today, it may become reality tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm giving you a little bit challenging task to this panel member to look into the future and tell me that what will be the future of advertising, what kind of media will be used, what will be the future of distribution, how products will reach to the customers, what will be the future of the new product, what are the kind of new products, innovative products which will be available in the market in the future, which are not available today,
Exactly.
and how the global, what will be the global impact of pricing on those products, what will be the overall marketing mix of future, looking at the present and looking into the futuristic trend. Like just use your imagination, because this is one wonderful
I think-
exercise that we can have.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I can add one point over here, which is now started infusing in the marketing campaign. It's the
Right.
is the drone delivery kind of a thing,
Right.
right? Where the Gen Z and even the upcoming culture,
Mhm.
the speed is one of the important factor which every brand, every company has to follow. That how quick you can deliver any service or any product, right?
yes,
So the kind of a delivery concept which came up in the West, now it may come in India as well, which is the kind of a drone delivery, right? You order it on your smartphone, you just set up your target state that where you want the delivery, and they have their kind of a timeline. They're that this within this tag you will get this delivery at this location. So I would say that though it looks very fancy at this point in time, it looks very advanced, but after 10 years or maybe 15 years or 20 years down the line, it will be a very common kind of a concept which all the companies will adopt. So similarly, like that, the artificial intelligence, the kind of a less human interaction, more technology interaction, right?
One thing is artificial intelligence that everyone is talking nowadays. Another thing that I think not many people are talking of is the possibility in biomedical engineering. That is also going to have a significant impact on life of people and the future of marketing, because there will be many products which
Yeah.
will be launched in future,
yeah,
catering to future generation, which will be an outcome of biomedical engineering.
yes,
Yes, Dr. Vivek. I mean, as a pandemic effect, as I
Right.
said, there will be a surge in the demand of mindful products because people need it, and we don't know what different type of pandemic is again coming, because now it is going to be biological wars. So, in preparedness to that, there will be a lot of such products that will be needed, and then biomedical definitely will have a key role to play. And likewise, there are certain, I would say, research and development being done in these undiscovered areas, some diseases. We are hearing that, we will have some cure to cancer, diabetic problems, and then, something which no one had actually thought. I know it is an ambitious idea, but then still people, a lot of pharmaceutical companies are working. They have now, pandemic has really given them that kick
Exactly.
to start thinking the unexplored, unearthed areas.
yeah.
Yes.
I would like to add to this. For example, let me set up some sort of progression. I mean, we all talk about AI, augmented reality. So before COVID itself, I mean, a lot of brands had started incorporating all this tech into their offerings. For example, if I talk about IKEA, they started offering an app wherein you can just scan the product and place it in your living room and see how it look.
Yeah.
So that already started. Now, if you look at where it is, if I talk about metaverse, I mean, people are creating their avatars
Yes.
and trying out different kind of clothing, shoes. They're actually buying things online just for their avatar. I mean, and in future you could expect what your avatar is wearing,
Right.
you would get delivered to your home and you will start wearing it.
Yeah,
So
that's
this is the sort of progression that we are seeing. I mean, from small use to going completely immersed on the online technology and then, coming back to the offline with the actual products that you're wearing online.
Thank
So,
you,
I mean, this is something which is we can look forward to.
Yeah, just to add on to this, Gen Zs, they really prefer to buy something which gives them that sense of belongingness, something that stands out. Even if, three people will be there, be purchasing it, but I will go for blue, X, Y, green, because it resonates. Why blue? Because my sky high thinking, or, and then white being a calmer person. And they have this in mind.
Yes.
And everything has to be there has to be a reflection of what I wear, what I carry, what I eat. So if brands are able to identify that, behavior of the customer, they will have a winning product and they will be winning the race.
Okay. So it's wonderful thing inside that you have brought, Aditya. Particularly, I was wondering that why nobody has mentioned of metaverse, the virtual world. And I think that augmented reality and virtual reality, that will be creating a very different experience. And there are so many tech companies who are working to bring this to reality.
Yes.
And mixing the real world with the reality with metaverse.
Yes.
So definitely it is one thing which is going to have major impact on the buying behavior and buying preferences of the current generation Z, as well as the upcoming generation Alpha.
Yeah.
And of course, like, we will be there to witness the impact of those technologies on human life. So yes, definitely those things.
I would just like to add that the Alpha generation is already being shaped by technology. If I take example of Byju's, I mean, they are getting to learn things online, and technology is making much easier for them to adapt or learn about new concepts, prepare for the role that they have thought of, for themselves, that this is what I want to be, because they are very clear in what they want to be. I mean, not like us that पहले ये पढ़ लेते हैं, पहले वो पढ़ लेते हैं, फिर वो कर लेंगे. तो ऐसा नहीं है. So they're very clear, very focused.
And clear. Exactly. And what I really feel down the line after 10 or 15 years when it comes about the AR, so जो हम लोग sci-fi movies में देखते हैं, like it is the advanced version of the like what we can say about the calls. Correct. Being coming from a sales background or the marketing background, what I really feel, if I wanted to close a deal down the line after 10 or 15 years, so I need not to move physically there. I can connect somebody at some other instrument, or I can be there, but I'm not exactly there. I can move, I can roam, I can show them the things that this is going to happen in that manner, at their premises, but I'm sitting at my premises. VR is there, AR is there, but AR is not that strong. But I really feel down the line 10 years, it would be in that position that sitting at my office, I can be XYZ person office, and I can present, and I can move in his or her office.
All right. So what we can see here right now is that we are getting a lot of messages from their people asking questions, sharing a lot of insight online, those who are attending this session. And we are taking note and record of it. And those questions which are unanswered during this panel discussion, because this particular panel discussion was meant to act as a bridge in between our learners and industry people. So I, being a person from the academics, I took the onus of asking questions on behalf of my students to people, to experienced persons from industry, particularly from marketing and consumer behavior area, to put all those questions. I believe that majority of questions must be answered and your inquisitiveness must be satisfied in a very nice way. Some of those questions which are not yet addressed, we will take note of those questions and we will respond to those questions to you for your later satisfaction. So please trust that IMT CDL will leave no stone unturned to satisfy the queries and curiosity of our students. So we have reached to the conclusion. So I think that we have reached to the end of the discussion. We have discussed many diverse topics, so many different diverse areas we have touched. We believe that maybe in future, we may pick one particular aspect of such diverse talks that we have today, and we will try to go deeper into that area. Maybe we can have a bigger panel and we can explore the depth of any one of these questions which we have tried to touch today. I express my gratitude for your participation to all the esteemed panel members, those who have taken the time out of your schedule. I understand that today is a weekend. You all could have enjoyed with your family at your home, but still your love for your alma mater is reflected. I am so touched that you all are here with and sitting among us even on this weekend. Reena was there with us, but her throat is not well. So Reena, I'm very thankful to Reena as well that despite of not being well, she could make out. Ravisha also, like, you are not very well, but still you could make out to be here. We are also touched that we have such wonderful alumni that at our one call at short notice, you could make it convenient to come here.
Our pleasure.
And most important, like, you all come from, such wide experience, and you shared your learnings with the future generation of learners here for their benefit. So we will stay connected. We will stay connected like this, and we'll keep on inviting you again on more forums. And we will also look into our diverse pool of the alumni base, which comprise more than 40,000 learners today, like more than 40,000 students, those who passed out or did their PGDM or PGDM executive from IMT CDL. So we will keep on inviting some of them as and when it is possible for upcoming roundtable discussions. Next weekend, we will be holding one roundtable discussion in the area of HR. So we will be holding it for coming 2, 3, 4 weeks. And if we get good interest and response from the students, we may continue it for long. So once again, I thank you for sharing your time and knowledge with us. We look forward to the possibility of future discussion and learning opportunities with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And before, I have a concluding thought for everyone. So firstly, please, marketing is magnetic, and don't make it elastic if you really want to win. And on behalf of all the panelists, I wish you all great morning with the hidden intention that you have great more learning in terms of your earnings and aspirations and whatever you want to achieve.
Any other concluding remark from anyone?
Yes. Say one more thing that particularly about the Gen Z. To millennials and the generation before that, just give them the opportunity, give them the ownership, and let them make mistakes. They are better than us in terms of doing their work. Just give them the opportunity and give them the ownership of that work. They will definitely prove themselves.
And I would, my message to the millennials generation is that we should just bring more flexibility in our mindset. We should be more acceptable and inclusive while it comes to Gen Z. Definitely, sometimes we feel that they are in a hurry, but still the speed is one of the factors where competition exists. So definitely we should be inclusive. We should give our experiences and adopt their ideas as well. So we should be welcoming to the ideas of Gen Z. We should respect their ideas and values as well. So that is the message.
Yes, Aditya, your parting thought.
Just one line, I would say that we all must be willing to adapt and receptive to change, because change is always going to be there.
Change is the only constant for us.
Only constant. Yes.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.